Welcome to another episode of Add-on Spotlight by me, Miss Bizz. This week's Add-on Spotlight, the spotlight is on Constellations. This is an add-on that helps you figure out where your blue champion points should go by math. Something to note is to use Constellations most easily, you're going to want the add-on Combat Metrics. I've made a video of this add-on in the past, so be sure to check it out and get Combat Metrics. So what exactly does Constellations do? Constellations will take the fancy math formulas that other smarter people have figured out on exactly where you should put your blue champion points according to how much of what kind of damage you do. So it is really helpful once you kind of maybe hit a plateau in your DPS parses to maybe see if you could be doing something a little bit different and do it a little bit better. As you can see here, I have Combat Metrics and Dark UI running, but there is no actual settings for Constellations. Now, it's not quite plug and play, so I'll go over with what you need to mess with and how you're going to use it. First off, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, make sure you have Combat Metrics installed and make sure you do a parse. Whether this be in live content or if you just beat up a target skeleton, you will need a parse with your usual build on what kind of damage you've done. You can also load parses from Combat Metrics from the past to use with Constellations. Once you've loaded up a Combat Metrics parse, you're just going to want to press Combat Metrics Import. See, now you can manually set all of these sliders, but using Combat Metrics makes it a whole lot easier. There are two things you're going to need to change. The first thing you may need to change is the damage bonus percentage. Now this defaults to 20%, which is actually a very good estimate for what you're going to experience in a full trial group. Once you start adding together, if you have this minor slayer, maybe some friends run something that gives you major slayer occasionally, along with combat prayer and other damage bonus percentages. If you actually know what this will be, feel free to change this up. If not, leaving it at 20% is a good base guesstimate. The other thing you're going to need to mess with is your spell penetration. Now, if you don't actually know this, you can use an add-on such as Overview or Superstar to figure out what your average spell penetration is. The slider isn't super exact, just try to get as close as possible because you're unable to actually type numbers in here right now. Once you've actually imported a Combat Metrics report and you've adjusted your damage bonus percentage and your spell or weapon penetration, because it really matters what your character is, but for me I'm on a Magicka character so I need to change my spell penetration, you're going to go to the top and you are going to select champion points. Here it should actually automatically read how you have your champion points set. I always just reset CP to make sure I haven't made any changes recently, and you will click Calculate. Now here it's going to show you what your damage modifier or whatever is, and if it found something better. Something to keep in mind is that it doesn't automatically take into account, let's say for example, you want the Exploiter passive. It won't know that automatically, so it may not tell you, but you can change the minimum number of points you want in something. So since this is the main Magicka item, I'm going to put 75 points into Thom just to make sure I get the Exploiter passive, and I'm going to recalculate. According to this Combat Metrics parse, I would be better off if I changed my Spell Erosion and my Master at Arms champion points. You can go ahead, tinker with it, tweak it, use different parses to find out, and now you might have a better CP layout. Just like all the other add-ons I show in Add-on Spotlight, you can pick up Constellations from ESOUI.com. You can also read about what I just told you about how some things you need to are not automatically set, and you need to set them yourself. You can also find some interesting conversations in the comments. If you're looking for the link to the ESO UI website for this specific add-on, check in the description below, and I will also leave a link to the Combat Metrics add-on, which is what really makes Constellation shine. Enjoy your brand new CP setup for how math says you should do it. Thanks for joining me, and hope to see you on the next Add-on Spotlight for ESO. Bye for now.